All right, so today we're going to do tribulation. We're going to start with Easton's Bible Dictionary. Tribulation, trouble or affliction of any kind. Deuteronomy 4:30. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy God, and shall be obedient unto his voice. Yet hath he not root himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. Great is my boldness of speech toward you, great is my glorifying of you. I am filled with comfort, I am exceeding joyful in all our tribulation. Tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first, and also of the Gentile. Tribulation and anguish are the penal sufferings that shall overtake the wicked. In Matthew 24:21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. The word denotes the calamities that were to attend the destruction of Jerusalem. Tribulation in the Old Testament. Closely pressed as of the seals, Job 41:15. His scales are his pride shut up together as with a closed seal. Of streams pent up, Isaiah 59:9. Therefore is judgment far from us, neither doth justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity, for brightness, but we walk in darkness. Margin of strength limited. Proverbs 24:10. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. Hence, figuratively, of straitened circumstances, variously rendered affliction, tribulation, distress. Psalms 4:2. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing? Selah. Psalms 18:7. Then the earth shook and trembled, the foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken because he was wroth. 32:7. Thou art my hiding place. Thou shalt preserve me from trouble. Thou shalt compass me about with songs of deliverance. Selah. 44:11. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen. Etc. Psalms 78:42. They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy. 102:3. For my days are consumed like smoke, and my bones are burned as an earth. 106:44. Nevertheless regarded their affliction when he heard their cry. 119:143. Trouble and anguish have taken hold on me, yet thy commandments are my delight. Isaiah 26:16. Lord, in trouble have they visited thee. They poured out a prayer when thy chastening was upon them. Isaiah 30:20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. I will go and return to my place, till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction they will seek me early. Ezekiel 30:16. And I will set fire in Egypt. Sin shall have great pain, and no shall be rent asunder, and Noph shall have distresses daily. Frequently, the feminine form, Sarah, is similarly rendered tribulation. Judges 10:14, the King James Version, 1 Samuel 10:19, and they have this day rejected your God, who himself saved you out of your adversities and your tribulations, and ye have said unto him, Nay, but set a king over us. Now therefore present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and by your thousands. 1 Samuel 26:24. And behold, as thy life was much set by this day in mine eyes, so let my life be much set by in the eyes of the Lord, and let him deliver me out of all tribulation. In other places, distress, affliction. Genesis 42:21. And they said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother, and that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. Psalm 121. In my distress I cried unto the Lord, and he heard me. Proverbs 11:8. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. 2 Chronicles 29. If when evil cometh upon us, as the sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house and in thy presence, for thy name is in this house, and cry unto thee in our affliction, then thou wilt hear and help. Isaiah 63:9. In all their affliction he was afflicted, and the angel of his presence saved them. In his love and in his pity he redeemed them, and he bare them and carried them all the days of old. Jeremiah 15:11. The Lord said, Verily it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. Jonah 2:2. And said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. Nahum 1:9. What do ye imagine against the Lord? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise upon the second time. Zechariah 10:11. And he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the deeps of rivers shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart away. In the New Testament, the Greek is thlipsis, pressing together as of grapes, like the wine press, squeezing or pinching, from verb phlebo, used figuratively for distress, tribulation. Septuagint, Sar and Sarah, Vulgate, Jerome's Latin Bible 390 to 405 AD. Tribulation, pressura, from tribulum, a threshing sledge. The verb form is rendered suffer tribulation. 1 Thessalonians 3:4, for verily when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and ye know. Suffer affliction, the Revised Version, trouble. 2 Thessalonians 1:6, seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. Afflict, the Revised Version, compared to 2 Corinthians 1:6. And when we be afflicted, it is for your consolation and salvation, which is effectual in the enduring of the same suffering which we also suffer, or whether we be comforted, it is for your consolation and salvation. 2 Corinthians 4:8, we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. 2 Corinthians 7:5, for when we come into Macedonia, our flesh had no rest, but we were troubled on every side. Without were fighting, within were fears. 1 Timothy 5:10, well reported for good works, if she had brought up children, if she had lodged strangers, if she had washed the saints' feet, if she had relieved the afflicted, if she had diligently followed every good work. Hebrews 11:37, they were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented. The noun form is rendered in the King James Version variously as tribulation, affliction, persecution, though more uniformly tribulation in the Revised Version, British and American. The word is used generally of the hardships which Christ's followers would suffer. Matthew 13:21. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arise because of the word, by and by he is offended. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated for all nations for my name's sake. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and powers of earth shall be shaken. And have no root in themselves, so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution arise. Okay, we read that one. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation. But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. John 16:33. 1 Corinthians 7:28. But, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. Or which they are now passing through. Romans 5:3, and not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience. Romans 12:12, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing in instant prayer. 2 Corinthians 4:17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Philippians 4:14. Notwithstanding ye have well done, that ye did communicate with my affliction, or through which they have already come. Acts 11:19. Now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenix and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word to none but only the Jews. Romans 5:3. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience. Did I already go there? Yeah. Sorry, this one. 2 Corinthians 2:4. For out of much affliction and anguish of heart I wrote unto you with many tears, not that ye should be grieved, but that ye may know the love which I have more abundantly unto you. Revelation 7:14. And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Alright, so we'll look at vines now. Tribulation, it says see affliction. B, number 4 is translated tribulation. In the RV in Mark 4:17, we read that already, I'll let you read it again. Mark 13:19, again. Confirming the souls of disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must go through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of God. Many tribulations, much tribulation, in Matthew 24:9. Okay, read that one. I'm going to leave this just a pause to read, because it's basically just a repeat of what we had initially said. So, right here. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water and blood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away in the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Alright. After this I beheld, and lo, great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, and kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, and palms in their hands. So it says in Revelation 7:14. So these are the ones that came out of great tribulation, right? Is not that in which all saints share. It indicates a definite period spoken by the Lord in Matthew. Okay, so they're basically saying it's the second advent, and as a period in which the Jewish nation restored Palestine, and unbelief by Gentile instrumentality will suffer an unprecedented outburst of fury on the part of the anti-Christian powers confederate under the man of sin, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them a strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. And I just read that. In this tribulation, Gentile witnesses for God will share of a multitude, but it will be distinctly the time of Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah 37. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. It is beginning is signalized by the setting up of the abomination of desolation. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. But when ye shall see the abomination of desolations, there you go. An arm shall stand on its part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that makes desolate. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 2,290 days. Daniel 12:11. Alright, so yeah. So I just wanted to read a little bit more. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy God, and shall be obedient unto his voice, for the Lord thy God is a merciful God. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he sware unto them. For ask now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and ask from one side of heaven unto the other, whether there hath been any such thing as this great thing is, or hath been heard like it. Did ever people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard and lived? Or hath God essayed to go and take him a notion from the midst of another nation, by temptation, by signs, by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes? Unto thee it was shewed, that thou mightest know that the Lord he is God, there is none else beside him. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, and he might instruct thee. And upon earth he shewed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought thee out of his sight with the mighty power of Egypt, to drive out nations from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art, to bring thee in, to give thee their land and inheritance, as it is to this day. Now therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart, and that the Lord he is God in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath there is none else. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which the Lord thy God giveth thee forever. So I just wanted to keep going and see, because I know, this is in the Torah, and it says just 10 verses before, when thou art in tribulation, and all these things are to come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to the Lord thy God, and shall be obedient unto his voice. And we keep reading all of that, and then it says that you need to keep his commandments in order to be kept safe from the tribulation.